Hello everyone and welcome. I'm so glad you could join us so that we can make together this amazingly tasty, nutrient-dense treat for your kids. This is, of course, our Superfood salted caramel bonbon treat. Super easy to make. We're going to demonstrate it here for you, and don't forget you'll also get a nutrition fun facts video by my little friend here, and we'll also be sending you a printed copy of this recipe as well. So I'm just going to talk to you really quick about the things that you need first of all for this recipe, and then we'll go through the making. So you're going to need 16 dates, nice fresh juicy dates if you can. You'll need some macadamia nuts. If you don't have macadamia nuts, you can use any nut of your choice: walnuts, pecans, almonds. Any of those would work. You're going to need some sea salt or Himalayan rock salt. We will be using some chocolate making ingredients for the coating of these bonbons. So you're going to need some cacao butter. This is cacao butter, and you'll also need some cacao paste. And then we also have some green leaf stevia in this, which helps to bump up the sweetness just a little bit. It is optional. You don't have to use this. And some lovely raw organic honey. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to switch places with the kiddo here, and we're going to start off by putting our dates into the food processor. So let's show them first of all how we get the pits out, right? So your dates are probably going to have pits in them. I do recommend that you buy the ones with pits in them, because otherwise they tend to dry out and then they don't taste as good in recipes. So you're gonna just pinch it. So that's how I do it. I put my fingers on either side of the date and pinch it open. It's sticky work, but that's okay. And then you have the little pit that pops up. Just grab it and into the garbage it goes. So we're gonna do that with all of our dates. Oh, you can't see the food processor. I've just been alerted to the fact that you can't see the food processor. So let's throw this over here. There we go. Now you can see it. I wondered where we were throwing that. Okay, so pinching, pulling out the pit, and in it goes. Okay, top goes back on. Oh, he's just gonna rinse off his little fingers. Okay, so the top goes onto our food processor. Make sure it's locked in place. And then what do we need to tell folks about a little safety tip for using the food processor?
Keep your hand on the food processor so the food processor doesn't jump around the counter.
Awesome, yeah. And how are we gonna start? Are we gonna put it on the highest speed right away, or what are we gonna do first? We're gonna pulse it first a couple of times just to break it up a little bit, and then we're gonna put it on a low speed. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Now that it's broken up a little bit in here, we can put it in onto the first speed, so a low speed. So what you're looking for here is for your dates to form a nice ball, like so. And then we're going to scoop that out into a bowl. We're going to use that again, remember, for the macadamia nuts. So I'll scrape this out while you're measuring out. We're going to use half a cup of the macadamia nuts, or whatever nut you're using. And the reason that we're taking the dates out is just so that we can get the nuts chopped up into small enough pieces.
Is this good, Mommy?
That's awesome. So let's just pop this up on here and bring it back over so everybody can see what we're doing. Okay, in they go.
Oh, one fell.
Okay. And you're going to give that a little pulse, right? Hand on speed. And what we're looking for in texture here is kind of a rough, sort of like gravel type consistency. So I'm going to show that to you. Okay, there's a few smaller chunks and bigger chunks. That's okay. It's going to grind down a little bit more as we blend. So now our date paste goes back inside. And we're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt or Himalayan rock salt. Okay. Top goes back on. Yep. Okay. And hand on top. Pulse at first. And then on the low speed. Oh, we just popped open, that's all. Okay. Nope, we need our little ball to pick up the rest of it. Okay, so you can see it's come together. The balls have mixed in with the dates have mixed in with the nuts. We have some loose stuff at the bottom, but that's okay. And then we're just gonna form these into balls so that we can put them in the freezer. Okay, then we're going to use some parchment paper. Good balance. We're gonna line a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. Unbleached parchment paper is best, but if you can't get it, regular parchment paper is fine as well. And then we need a teaspoon. Could you grab a teaspoon for us, sweetheart?
Here's one.
That's a tablespoon, actually.
Same thing.
So a teaspoon that we would eat with. One of the ones we would eat with, honey. One of the ones we would eat with. Okay, so we're gonna take a scoop of our batter. About like that, about a teaspoon. And this is all up to you. You can make these huge, you can make them little tiny, however you want to do it. And it's just like playing with Play-Doh. We're gonna roll out little balls. You can leave them nice little round balls. You could flatten them out and make them squished little bonbons, however you want to do it. So you're just gonna work your way through all of the batter, rolling them up, placing them onto your cookie sheet. And then they're gonna go into the freezer for 20 minutes to half an hour. The longer they're in there, the better it's gonna be for putting your chocolate coating on.
We like to make a smiley face before we put them in the freezer.
The next thing to do is to make your yummy chocolate coating layer. So what we're gonna do here is make a double boiler fancy using a small pot and a small metal bowl. You could also use a glass bowl. So what you wanna do here is fill your pot up about 1/4 of the way with water. You do not want the water to touch the bottom of your bowl when you set it on top. Into the bowl, you're gonna place a 1/2 cup of your cacao butter, as well as a 1/2 cup of cacao paste and a pinch of salt.
Some safety tips for working at the stove. You shouldn't have the handle facing. You should have it facing away from you, and no touchy stovey. Don't do it. Okay. And you should hold the bowl so it doesn't slip around like this. Stir frequently as it starts to melt.
And we'll add a 1/4 teaspoon stevia leaf powder. If you're omitting that, then make sure you add an extra teaspoon or 2 of honey. And then in goes a 1/4 cup of raw honey.
Honey.
Can you scoop that up for me, love?
What?
The honey.
Like this?
Yeah. Can I borrow the spoon? Okay, and then we're going to remove our bowl from the heat. At this point, parents, you may have to take the bowl and just give your chocolate a little bit of a whisk so you really get that honey incorporated with the oils of the honey. Otherwise, they may stay a little bit separated. So you want to give it a really good, quick stir with your spoon or a fork or a whisk, so you get it all nice and combined together. Okay, so once we have our beautiful chocolate made, we're gonna pull the bonbons out of the freezer and we're gonna coat them with our lovely chocolate. Okay, so go ahead, Tiago. He's gonna pick one up with a spoon and just dip it into the chocolate, roll it around a little bit in there, and scoop it back out with a spoon. Yep, get the excess off by just letting it drip a little bit. That's awesome. And then onto the parchment. It's okay, one little drip's not gonna hurt anything. We're looking for perfection here, I think. Okay, and the next one?
Where's the chunky one? Is that the chunky one?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, and scoop it out. Now, you should probably do these one at a time. If you throw a whole bunch in, what's gonna happen is your warm chocolate is gonna seize up because you're putting the frozen balls into the chocolate. So as you're doing them, probably do 3 or 4 of the balls, the chungus, the big one. And then you're gonna wanna give your chocolate another stir so that you're making sure everything is staying together, the oils and the honey and everything is perfectly combined. Okay.
You need to tip it more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's too
There you go.
chunky.
And scoop it out. Now I'm holding this up so that you can see it on the camera. Usually kids can do this on their own. They just hold it to the side. So you're gonna carry on and do that with all of your date balls until you have these perfect little round balls of goodness, just like that. Now, these are gonna be a little too hard to eat at the moment because the dough in the middle is quite hard from being frozen. So you probably leave them out on the counter for a few minutes before you dig in. You can do one pass in the chocolate like we have here. If you like them really chocolatey, then give them another pass. You have enough chocolate in there for probably 2, maybe even 3 coats. If you don't want to put more chocolate on them, then you can save this chocolate and use it for another recipe, or just pour it into a little container with some parchment paper, pop it in the fridge, and eat it like a candy bar. Lots of different things that you can do with this recipe. You could sprinkle on some nuts on the outside if you wanted to, but we like them just this cute little chocolatey ball of goodness.
Yummy.
If your chocolate does start to get too hardened up, starts to get really thick and kind of globby on the little balls, then all you need to do is pop it back onto your double boiler for a couple of minutes, a couple seconds even, until it loosens up, and then you can continue your dipping process. Okay, it's time for our food critic
Yay.
to let us know what he thinks.
Okay. 9 3/4 out of 10.
Nothing ever gets a 10. So these are beautiful. They've got a little hard shell that you crunch out into on the outside, and this beautiful, chewy inside. Very tasty and full of great nutrition for your kids. Your family's gonna love these. So what did you think? Did you like this recipe? I would love to hear your feedback, and I'd like to invite you to join us and learn to cook more of these superfood recipes with our kids. We are doing a 4-week online course full of these scrumptious recipes and the nutrition fun facts so that your kids get to start thinking about how food helps support their bodies. This is an extraordinary time, and our kids are looking to us for connection now more than ever. We as parents are looking for ways to entertain our kids that doesn't involve them spending endless hours watching SpongeBob, YouTube, or playing video games. We're also looking for some ways to sneak in a little education that our kids aren't going to resist, and that's not going to make us end up feeling like we want to pull our hair out with frustration. Learning to cook superfood treats ticks all of these boxes, and it's a great way to make some warm and happy memories of this time together. And when the educational fun is done, you and your kids will get to enjoy the sweet fruits of your labor. What could be better? I hope you and your family will join my son and I in this special class. Just head to the link below to get all the details and register your spot. We'll see you very soon.